Where are they at?
2 Daves, a Carson, and a Tony. What else can go wrong here, right?
I would call that overhype right there.
Big time.
Well, I got to make them feel like they're getting their money's worth here.
There you go.
We got Dave squared.
Welcome our first guest tonight, Carson Macedo, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I think the obvious thing, first of all, is you've got a hell of a starting spot tomorrow night.
Yeah, the best I've ever had, so I definitely can't complain with the front row. It don't get much better than that.
Is it the new paint scheme that did it for you?
Must have brought us some good luck. A lot of people say green's bad luck, but
tell people about that. Why the new paint scheme? What's going on?
yeah, we just try to do a little bit of something special every year. I feel like JJR has always done a really great job of doing something a little bit different, something a little special, and we tried to kind of, the last couple of years, we've gone off of All Ball's website just to kind of sort of go with a theme that they're doing with their business, so it just worked out really good.
You know, Jason Johnson was a terrific human being, and to many of us, a very special friend. And as you get out and about, do you get the sense from people about his legacy and who he was? And I just think it's great what you guys are doing with the team and continuing on. And I know that would make him smile. But what vibe do you get from people when they realize you're driving for Jason Johnson's team?
Well, I got the privilege after Jason had his accident in 2018 to drive the car for the first time here at Knoxville Raceway, and that year was like no other. I mean, the vibe, just everybody coming up and being so happy that that legacy was continuing, that Bobby was keeping the team going, and then since then, Philip, his crew chief at the time, and Cousins taking over the role of the team ownership, him and his wife Brooke, and I just think they do a great job, and I feel like they've continued to just support exactly what Jason believed in. They run a really clean operation. Obviously, the car's fast and has a lot of speed, which I think Jason would look down on and be proud of. And we just try to uphold the standards that he upheld. And, man, it's not easy to do what he did. He pioneered his own team from the ground up as an owner-operator. And, I think what's special, the most special thing about it is seeing all the fans here at Knoxville. I think what he did here in 2016 will never be forgotten. And I think people still to this day are walking around in Jason Johnson shirts, so that says a lot about him as a person.
As far as Jason goes, how many fans do you think you've earned because of him? Because a lot of people make assumptions about the person, something they might see on DIRTVision or over on Flow on their telecast, or maybe hear in an interview and think, well, maybe I don't like that person. But you know what? They're driving for Jason Johnson. I like that cat. I'm going to give him a chance.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people just love JJR, and so it was, you probably get in their eye a little bit sooner maybe, and they give you a shot, and hopefully, they like you enough to continue supporting the team. But I think there's just a lot of people that are JJR supporters. We'll come out with a T-shirt that says JJR on it and hardly anything else, and it'll sell like hotcakes. So that says a lot about the brand, what they've built, and what we're continuing to build.
Hey, Tony, look over your shoulder. That's a big plane coming into Knoxville tonight.
It is a big plane.
Yeah, we got some fans coming in.
Bringing them in by the plane loads.
I love it.
We were just talking about that. There's a lot of people here early in the week this week.
It's unbelievable. It's like I just think it keeps getting bigger and bigger. We saw Wednesday night, the biggest crowd that we've ever had on a Wednesday night. I feel like we have more people in Merchandise Row. There's just more people getting around. It's crazy the difference. Like Tuesday, I was actually looking around like, might be a little dead this year. And then Wednesday, you can hardly walk anywhere because it's so crowded. So it's just awesome to see the fans support this event. And it just keeps growing and getting bigger. And the vibe, the feel's like no other here. It's incredible.
What's your favorite part personally, outside of the racing? Like, what do you want to always do when you come to the Nationals? Is there a food stand you like, or what do you like to do?
Well, I like going to the Dingus, especially on nights like last night when I lock in and I know that the pressure's off me, at least for the moment. But I don't know. I mean, I really like the deli downtown. They've got incredible, fresh food. We go there a few times a week, it seems like. And just really getting to spend time with my friends and family, all kind of camp in this area. That's, I think, the different feel to Knoxville, in my opinion, for me, is that I'm here. Like, I'm riding my scooter around. It's like this little town that turns into my friends, my family.
Sprint Car Central.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Like, there's nothing like it. So it's really cool, and I enjoy it.
Do you have a tab when you leave after a night like last night, or is it?
Or is it open? Because if it is, we want to know that too.
Yeah. Is that still an open tab? Is the key
well, I tell you what, if I did have one, I wouldn't tell you three, because you guys would be running it up.
So what's it been like racing with your brother this summer?
It's been really cool. It's we joke all the time, my parents, it's like they've hit the like we've always said, like to have a kid to grow up racing micros or whatever and move on and actually make it to the World of Outlaw Tour is like hitting the lottery. Yeah. So my parents must be like playing tons of lotto tickets, because to have two make it is pretty incredible. And just to watch him progress, he's worked really hard to get to where he's at, and I think he's going to continue to progress in the sport, and it's fun to watch.
I think it was pretty special when he won his first touring race here, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, for you to be there and experience that with him.
Yeah, it was in spectacular fashion.
I saw that video, by the way. You looked kind of foolish. I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I love that.
No, I did too.
That
I didn't
was
mean
authentic.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And that has to be kind of tough to race against your brother. I mean, being very honest, you're out there to win, and you're out there to beat everybody else, and that includes, a relative. That's hard.
Yeah, there's a lot of nights where we're racing together, and I probably, you just don't want to crash each other. You look like morons out there if you wrecked each other, and so we try our best to not do that. But ultimately, like you said, we're all competitive, and we're all trying our best. But, yeah, the other night, I mean, race fans and everybody that's involved in the sport, they watch drivers, and the ups are really cool to watch, right? But because the downs are usually so often, I feel like if you can win like 15% of the time as a professional race car driver, you're killing it. I mean, that's awesome. So, you look at that and you think there's a lot of disappointment in that, right? So, nights like that are what we keep coming back for. That's what make it so fun. And to watch him win a national race, which is a really hard thing to do these days, especially that night, Kyle was running second. A lot of guys get in that position, they fold up, and he just did a great job from start to finish. I was just really proud of him.
You were racing with the All-Stars. I'll tell these guys a quick story. You were racing with the All-Stars in 2018, and there was a guy whose name was burned into my memory, Carmen Manzardo. Raced, had a terrific legend here at Knoxville. And I was petrified that I was going to call Carson in a very quick, moment. I was here's Carmen Manzardo, our winner. So I took him aside, and I said, hey, dude, if I blow your name like this, listen, it's not intentional and no disrespect intended. And he kind of nodded, and then his eyes glazed over like, what is this guy talking about? But Carmen, come on.
Yeah,
Carmen Manzardo
yeah.
and Carson Macedo. Come on, that's easy. You could easily mess that
From
up.
an announcer's perspective, it's very easy, right?
You bet it is.
Carl calls me caramel macchiato. So.
Caramel macchiato. See, I wish I didn't know that, because I have this problem when people say things in the background, like in the press box, and it's really close. Sometimes I roll that off, so I apologize up front.
That's all right.
I can remember an early story being down in Phoenix back with the Slick 50 days, and had gotten into a position to do that, and there was a yellow on the backstretch, and I'm not sure who that was for, and a guy leans over and goes, it was Rex Cars. It's Rex Cars that's turned.
Rex Cars,
Rex Cars, sure. Walked right into that one.
So you've had some luck here at Knoxville. You've won here 4 times. What's the game plan between you and Phil? And I know you're not going to tell us specifically, but what's the plan? You guys got it figured out. You've had a lot of luck at Knoxville. You got your best starting spot.
Yeah, so I think that it's important to remember that every race is created equally, in my opinion. Like, the fact that we're on the front row, if anything, makes it a little bit easier. So I think that the Nationals is a very important race, and it's a hard one to win. But ultimately, every national 410 race nowadays is very hard to win. So keeping that into perspective, remembering to have fun. Ultimately, what we're going to do is we're going to show up. We're going to give it 110%, and wherever we end up at the end of the night's where it's going to be. And we're just thankful to be here racing, had a great prelim night, be in a really good spot, have the potential to win the race, and we're just going to put our best foot forward. I think the JJR car speaks for itself as far as its speed at Knoxville, and I'm just going to try and do my best job to keep up.
Do you like the pit stop?
I don't know. I mean, I think
It depends on where he's at tomorrow with the pit stop.
Depends on how.
Which was my next question.
Yeah, I just think it depends. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing it go 50 straight, to be honest, but we couldn't make it, obviously.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's controversial. I think it could go one way or the other. I think it really puts the mechanics into play, that's for sure.
Well, maybe tip your hand then, because that's kind of where I was going to go next. As having an outside front row starting spot, we're watching the points. They do such a good job at DIRTVision keeping us up to date, and it's like, hey, if Carson gets 2 more points, he's on the pole. I'm thinking to myself, does he want the pole? Does he want the outside? I mean, you're kind of in the best position possible, perhaps, because you can win the drag race to the first corner. Then you might have options, but still, you're safely allowed to wind it up there on the top side. Is that a good position to start in?
Yeah, it's going to be easier to answer that question in a moment, right? Like, it just depends on the way the track is. I think the other night at the Capitani, if you'd have asked me, if I was starting on the front row to pick top or bottom, I'd have picked the top. But, that could be different come Saturday night. You just don't know, and until that moment happens, it's tough to say. But regardless, nevertheless, we're on the front row. I mean, it's pretty tough to complain about that.
What do you boys think?
I like his position, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we heard it from Spencer Bayston last night in the press conference. I mean, there's talent behind you.
Yeah.
As inferring Kyle Larson, he's definitely going to be there. But at the tail of two, we'll have to see how it plays out, where he's at the break, and what's happening.
We've heard all week drivers talking about it with their crew chief, and I feel like that's Carson's biggest advantage at the pit stop. He's got Phil, who's what Carson wants, and he's had a chance to look at the track. He's had a chance to watch the other guys. So the communication doesn't have to be as intense between them, to figure out what else do you need to do to the car for the second half of the race.
I think Phil is just incredible at what he does, and we're really good buddies, and it's easy for us to communicate. It's easy for us to communicate well, and a lot of the times we don't even have to say a whole lot. I'll come in, I'll say one or two things, and he's already kind of got it in his mind what adjustments he's going to make to get us better.
Well, we're happy for you. We're excited to
Amen.
watch you go from the front row this weekend. We'd love to see you win. I think a lot of these folks would love to see you win, and you've got a great chance to do it. Thanks for joining us here on the show.
Heck yeah, thanks for having me on.
Carson Macedo, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, Cole Macedo joins us on the Nationals pre-race show presented by Midwest Sanitation.
What the heck is this? We're doing brand deals now, huh?
Chad, it makes sense.
Sheesh! Just because we're both cut from the same stuff of American legends, right here in the good old US of A?
Kinda.
Just because we're both for America, by America? Just because Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer is 100% American made? Yes, Chad. Yes. No, thank you.
Thank you.
I chose the Chasm system. A lot of the top drivers in the sport were using it, and being a father and all the back injuries happening, I felt like it's just extra insurance on keeping your back healthy and safe. Years ago, I broke and fractured my T5 vertebrae. Since then, I've always been on top of my safety stuff, but I think the Chasm is just the next layer of being on top of the safety.
It's ARP fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
And welcome back to the Nationals pre-race show presented by Midwest Sanitation. While we wait for Cole to get here, we're going to talk about Dave Argabright and Steve Kinzer for just a minute. And Dave, tell us a little bit about the project, the Steve Kinzer book. I know everybody's excited to see that come out.
Well, I appreciate that, Tony. I first approached Steve probably 25 years ago, and literally, about doing a book someday. And down through the years, we had talked about it a couple different times. And finally, the time was right. About 2 years ago, I caught up with him here at the Nationals. We talked about it. And over the last couple of years, you know, I would go down and sit at Steve's kitchen table, and it was really just a couple of old friends sitting and telling racing stories, honestly. And I wanted to write the book in a way that would put everybody else at Steve Kinser's kitchen table. And I'm really excited about it. I'm real happy with how the book turned out. Steve was great. He was just in a really good place right now with his life and his career and the way he can look back at things. And I think everybody's really going to enjoy it. I really do.
It's pretty cool when you think about the fact that, you know, it's cool for you to chronicle his career and write these books, but the fact that you got to sit at Steve Kinser's kitchen table with him is pretty damn cool.
It was pretty cool, you know. And you haven't lived until Steve Kinser says, "Hey, how about a cup of coffee?" And he gets up and makes you a cup of coffee.
Well, there's something about that
That
too.
is pretty cool.
When these legendary figures that race so hard and can be a little rough at times on media members because you're bugging them and all, they've simmered. And they can actually be reflective, and that's when the good stuff just comes pouring out.
I mean, I think, you know, for most of us, age, you know, it mellows us a little bit, and you start to look at things a little differently. And Steve's just in an awesome place right now. He obviously achieved anything that anybody could ever dream of wanting in a sprint car, and then some. And he's just at a good place to reflect on that. And he's, as he'll tell you, he's met so many great people and had so many great experiences and life experiences. And for him to be willing to share that, I think, is a great thing in and of itself. But for me personally, I'm a historian. It's really important to me that future generations will have a place they can go to a bookshelf and pull something down and understand how incredibly impactful Steve Kinser was on sprint car racing.
Future generations like that guy who just
That's
showed up.
right here.
Cole Macedo joining us here, and that is a great. Yeah, go ahead, give him a round of applause. That Dave brings up a great point. You know, as a race car driver, I'm sure you appreciate the history of the sport, and to go and learn about a guy that maybe you didn't get a race with, that's a pretty cool opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Steve was one of the guys that I looked up to my whole entire career, and he was the king, right? You know, me and my brother both, I think he was our favorite driver, and you know, drove the heck out of the race car. And yeah, my guys have actually got to spend some time this year at their race shop, and you know, I haven't really had a whole lot of conversations one-on-one with him, but he seems like a great guy.
Don't take this the wrong way, but did you ever get a chance to see Steve Kinser race in person?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you know,
had to be a wee bit child.
Late in his career, yeah, he was racing the I think it was the Bad Boys buggies.
Oh yeah,
there
car. You know, there at Tulare. I think he flipped in qualifying. That was one of the last races I remember him running at. So yeah.
Well, that leads me right into where I wanted to go. Except qualifying, flipping after you win. Let's talk about your first big win, man.
Man, I've got that. I've got asked about that a lot.
I bet you have.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the first things everybody keeps saying to me every single time they see me. So at least they're talking about me, I guess.
Hey, at least you're going to remember you for a spectacular win. And getting the first high limit win, that's a big deal, right? Getting it on the national stage. You know, both series have the best sprint car drivers in the country, as you know. And to get that first big win off the bucket list, got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it felt awesome. You know, I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I wanted to right after the races there, but yeah, it was a dream come true. That's always, you know, I've always wanted to win on the national level, and it's just so hard to put together, you know, 30, 40 laps, depending on the night. It's very hard, and when you got guys like Kyle Larson breathing down your neck, it's very easy to make a mistake. And yeah, we just had an unbelievable night.
Did you think for just a minute, shit, I got to go tell Wayne what happened here?
Yeah, man, I was trying to gather up what happened with myself. The wind was knocked out of me. It was actually a pretty good crash.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was nonetheless, it was a great night though, and I think you know, we had some torn up stuff, but it was all worth it, I think.
Put us in the helmet. I mean, these fans will never put on a helmet. I'll never put on a helmet. You're on the backstretch. You're on the white flag lap. What's going through your mind? Do you remember going through the corners? Do you remember seeing the checker flag? And do you remember seeing the oh shit moment?
Yeah, so I actually didn't get to see the white because I was underneath of a lapper coming to the white, and that was kind of why the crash kind of happened. I come off turn 4, and I was looking up, and I thought it was the checker, but I was like, man, I didn't see the white. And right when all that happened, I was jumping over the guy's right rear and crashing. So But yeah, I mean, the whole race, you know, when you got Kyle right behind you, I looked up under the caution. I'm like, oh, the 57's behind me. He's gonna try something here. And yeah, luckily we put the whole 30 laps together, just not 31.
You know, it's kind of
working on the 31st, but
Yeah.
right. You know, even though it ended in a way you didn't want it to, you know, I think part of the cool part there is you're racing for a guy that's a racer, right? So he gets it, right? He may not like the fact that now they got to go build another race car, but hey, you got the win, and you know, shit happens, right?
Yeah. Wayne's very understanding, and he's taught me a lot this year. You know, with him having, you know, so many years of experience, it's been a breath of fresh air to come in and be like, hey, you know, this is what the car's doing, this is what I feel like, and he can kind of, you know, diagnose it a little bit quicker just because, you know, he's been in that position not too long ago.
You know, we talked to Carson a little bit about this and the concept racing against your family, your brother. And obviously you guys are close. That video we talked about of him cheering you on, and that's a great moment. It really is. But how about from your perspective, racing against your brother? Is it something you have to kind of work on mentally to treat him the same yet different?
Yeah, for sure. You know, obviously I give him more respect than anybody else on the track just because I don't want to crash my brother, right? It's I want to see him succeed just like he wants to see me succeed. And, you know, at this point in my career, I'm not really in the points hunt to say where he is. So, you know, while I'm out there, I'm not trying to, you know, hurt his battle. Now, here in a couple years when we're contending for the lead, hopefully, in points, it's going to be cutthroat, I think. I think it'll turn into a different deal. There might not be very many good, you know, Thanksgiving dinners, but yeah, right now it's been awesome having him on the road with me and teaching me so much. And it would be hard, you know, being on the road and being gone for so long. You know, it's tough to not have that family figure there with you. And typically I got him and his fiance, and you know, my parents get to come out a little bit. So, but yeah, it's been awesome.
How much do you and he share notes about, you know, this is what you're feeling, you know, how does he feel about it, that sort of thing?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. You know, he's pretty switched on and in tune with what's going on with his race car, and I feel like I'm the same. And we could come in and compare notes a little bit and you know, compare notes about, you know, our lines as well. He's been on the road for quite some time now, and it's crazy to say that. I feel like it was just yesterday that he started, but you know, he's been to all these racetracks and knows the ins and outs. So yeah, that's what I lean on him the most. You know, just going out and laying it down a lap and qualifying, which, you know, makes or breaks your night typically.
But do you feel like, do you guys share the same kind of driving style? I mean, you're two different people, but do you share the same kind of style?
Yeah, I think that we do. I think that we're both aggressive. You know, he's a little bit smarter than me, but I think, you know, my 4th or 5th year on the tour, I think I'll be around where he's at. I'm still a little bit rough around the edges, and got to learn how to pace a race and finish all 40 laps and not wear out my stuff too early. So, but yeah, I think that we both are very aggressive drivers and up on the wheel and you know, hopefully put on a good show for you fans.
You know, Wayne's a long-term guy, right? And I got to assume you've kind of started to feel like you found a place that you can kind of not worry about what am I going to do next year, just worry about how we build for next year.
Yeah, that was a big reason why I chose this ride with Todd and Kelly Carlisle and Wayne, you know, running the organization. You know, I felt like they stuck with Wayne for many, many years and through thick and thin, and you know, they seemed like really good people. I got to come out to Knoxville last year and race a local show for them, and they were super happy and understanding. You know, we didn't run the best, and then in the feature we were really good, and they, you know, they're awesome people, all of them. Wayne, Sarah, his wife, you know, like I said, Todd and Kelly. I got a great group of people. You know, my car chief Bud and Casey, they all work their tails off.
You know, for a young guy early in his career like this, to come here on this weekend at this venue, how do you keep from just being a little bit overwhelmed with all of this, just the immensity of everything that's going on here?
Yeah, it's tough. You know, I want to make the Nationals so bad, and you come into these weeks and you got your family here and you got a lot of fans here, and you know, you want to succeed in front of them, right? And so yeah, it definitely makes it tough. You try to do all the right things, and even when you feel like you're doing it all right, you know, a little bit of bad luck could make or break your week. And yeah, it's so tough. Like I said last night, we just went out and didn't make not a great qualifying lap, but I thought, oh, we'll be okay. We're in front of the 8th or the 4th row there, and still just didn't get going in the heat, and then it just spiraled from there. Got going in the B, but it was just too late. So it's a lot of nerves, very stressful for sure.
Little work to do tonight.
Yeah, a lot of cars. Drew a bad pill, so going out pretty late. But hopefully, with what we learned last night, it'll carry over in tonight, and we can unload a little bit better.
Drew a bad pill. That's a great opportunity to show off, right?
Yeah, that would be good. Go quick time. Go one of the last cars out. That'd be good.
Well, we're excited for you, and we're all happy that you got that first big win off the bucket list and get that pressure off, right? And you can really start focusing on what you got to do next. And we're excited to see you grow with Wayne and Todd and the whole team, and we wish you lots of luck here this weekend.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Cole Macedo, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how these guys do it, honestly, Dave and Dave. I mean, that's a lot of pressure to have on your shoulders, and you're trying to establish yourself and really, make a name for your career.
That's why I think, Tony, it's pretty rare to see a really young guy with little experience come in here and do really, really well, because it is intimidating, and there's a big learning curve, and there's so many things you got to kind of navigate through 4 nights, and it's hard. It's very hard.
Fortunately, on DIRTVision, we got him in back-to-back nights. Obviously, he was part of the press conference, and I asked Ryan, I said, do you even realize what you accomplished tonight? And he kind of played it off, like a cool 18-year-old that quite honestly didn't. Well, we had him right back the next day, because at the start of our pre-race, so I said, I want to have this kid back on 18 hours later. And he came back on. I'm like, okay, how's it feel today? And he's like, I'm starting to understand a little bit more now. I said, wait till you have futility and realize how hard it was the next year.
Exactly.
So then, that's how they learn.
We're going to take one more quick break. Stay tuned. We have Carson McCarl joining us next on the pre-race show.
You wanted the best. You got 'em for a breast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt. The World of Outlaws.
Hold on tight to the checkered flag with our huge selection of high-quality titanium fasteners. Quality you can see, strength you can test. We use heat-treated, certified aerospace billet material that's stronger than grade 8 steel, and all of our parts are American-made with American metal, by racers, for racers. From micro, midget, sprint, and IndyCar to top fuel, tractor pull, and more. Visit our website to configure a custom bolt kit for your car, and we'll ship it to you in labeled bags. Smith Titanium. We winnovate.
Built to win, not for show. Wedge carts are hand-built, American-made, and purpose-built for dirt. No fluff, just pure, stock-class performance. Get the Wedge Edge at wedgecarts.com.
Welcome back to the Knoxville Nationals pre-race show presented by Midwest Sanitation. Glad to have you with us here in person, and glad to have Carson McCarl joining us now, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause. Well, Carson, this place is, you're no stranger around here. You're probably You've got to be one of the most comfortable people here this weekend because of all the time you've spent here.
I don't know. I'm racing tonight, so I guess I'm not quite as comfy as some of these guys. But no, having extra laps around the place never hurts. We had a really good start to our prelim night. Just wasn't able to capitalize on our good qualifying run there. But the car's feeling really good right now. We're just sticking to the basics that we do every week, and hopefully we can come out swinging tonight.
You come into tonight, 32nd in points, but man, I'm telling you, the last month, you guys have found a lot of speed. And in both your 360 program, your 410 program, you've been really fast the last month.
Yeah, we've been finding speed at the right time. We've been qualifying good all year, just haven't been quite racing that great. And, I switched some stuff around on the car, and it feels like, we got a lot more straightaway drive, come feature time when it's slick than we did at the beginning of the year. So hopefully we can make the right adjustments. I always say your toughest competition is the racetrack. So hopefully, Hard Knocks can throw a lot at you too. So a lot of times it's curved up and slick and tricky. So hopefully we can make the right moves tonight.
The weekly program here is one of the best in the world, and terrific history. The depth of the people that have ran here, it's amazing. But for the local guys, then once a year when the Nationals comes, it would just be so magical for a local guy to win this thing. I know Danny did years ago, but that has to be on every local guy's mind as you come into this weekend, not just for yourself, but for this entire city and the program in this area, what it would mean to win here.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to get to the point where, like when the Outlaws go to PA, it's kind of the posse versus the Outlaws. I would love to get to the point where, and I think we kind of are, where, the Knoxville regulars are tough enough to where, we're a threat every single time too. So not only would it be great for, the local fans around here, but no Iowans ever won it either. My dad's been close a few times, but, he had his last run last night. And so if I could be the first Iowan to win it and do it for Iowa, that'd be pretty special too.
Not to get all sappy, but how does that make you feel about him with his last 410 Nationals?
Well, knowing my dad, I don't know if I buy it.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, that's kind of. He says it was his last one, and he's definitely not retiring. He's, he's still going to run 360s next year, and I was making fun of him in the motorhome, and I was like, well, what's going to happen next year when you win 360 races in a row right before the Nationals? You're just going to sit out, and he says he is. So, it's sad to see that. Even my dad at 60 years old, I still think he can get the job done, and. Hopefully next year in the 360 deal, he can at least get a few wins there.
It's a change in the era. That's a big deal.
Absolutely. Cutting my teeth back in this racetrack in the early 90s with your grandfather, Leonard, and with your dad basically teaching me almost everything I know, and going through the loads of BS that they throw out every now and then. Just like perhaps that press release tomorrow. I got a great idea. Everybody loves the Kardashian show. Everybody loves all those reality shows. I want to see a McCarl reality show. Live with these guys behind the scenes. I want to go to Mexico with you. It'd probably get good ratings, but man, I don't know.
It's so funny. Wade calls them the Ewings, from the show Dallas.
Sure.
If you think about it, they all have a character in the Ewing family.
But in a serious light, the privilege you guys have had as a family to be able to race together for this period of time is something that you couldn't pay any amount of money for. The time you've spent together as a family, you and your dad and your brother, I think it's wonderful. I really do.
Yeah, it's crazy. My dad's my hero, and it's funny. Like the first couple of times I ever raced against him, we're throwing slide jobs and stuff at each other. I'm like, this guy used to ground me, and now I got to battle him for a transfer spot. Like this is kind of weird, but no, it's an honor to race with my dad and my brother, and. I still think we'll get to quite a bit here in the next couple of years, but definitely memories I'll never forget.
You've got to give your mom some credit. I think about it all the time. How does Lori put up with all of this racing inside of this family?
Yeah, and it seems like me and Austin, every time I seem to win, he seems to be right there behind me saying we have to battle it out together every time, so I feel bad for him.
Your first win came battling Austin.
Yeah, and then had to do it again a few weeks ago.
But how does your mom do it? I don't understand.
Does
she give you guys a talking to, like...
No, she lets us do our thing.
That'd be a great episode. Lori gets them all in on the couch. Sit.
And
here's how it's going to go.
And for what it's worth, I don't believe you when you say you feel bad when you beat your brother. I just don't believe you.
Oh, no, I don't. I want to beat Austin and those guys, more than everybody else, probably a little bit, just for bragging rights. But I also, I said in another interview, Austin's my best friend, and my dad's my hero. And so I want to beat them, but I want them to run good also, or, run good too. Like, in the 360 deal the other night, we were quick time, got the 4th in our heat race, and I was all over my dad for 3rd. And, I knew I was in a good spot, so I really needed to get by him, but I also didn't want to do anything, chop him too hard, and then he ends up missing the transfer. It just kind of messes with you a little bit, but at the end of the day, I do this for a living too, and, I got bills to pay.
Terry has often said that one of the toughest things for him here recently is he hates racing the boys because, A, he doesn't want to crash them because then he's got to go explain to Lori why he crashed the kids, right? And he recognizes that they're also trying to make a living at this deal. It's not easy.
Yeah, that can't be easy. I mean, anybody that's a parent, that's kind of a tough scenario to even contemplate, competing with your kid for something so meaningful on the racetrack. That'd be tough. I would not want to do that.
The Macedos were just worried about Thanksgiving. I'm more worried about, like, Sunday night. Have you ever had some Sunday nights after a Saturday where it's like, okay, we're going to go to our own corners, let this thing chill for a little bit?
Not really. I mean,
not really.
But there's been
we
this
can't
one
tell you
time.
about it.
There's been a couple times where I, have passed Austin on, the last lap and stuff, and he didn't talk to me for a few days. But, it's all business out there.
So I don't know if everybody understands this, but you do all the work on your car yourself during the week. You don't have a big shop full of people and all these kind of things. And so I think wins like your big 360 win here just a couple of weeks ago, the big $15,000 win here at the shootout, those races become more meaningful for you, I would assume, because of that.
Absolutely. And, my goal for this year was to hopefully win enough races where, I love owning my own team and being in charge of, what the setup is and also where we race and how we run things. But also when I see these drivers roll in right before the drivers meeting, all nice and clean and everything, and just got off the golf course, I'm like, that looks kind of nice too. I wouldn't mind trying that out every once in a while. So, hopefully we can put on a show tonight and tomorrow and maybe turn some heads and, get ourselves in one of those rides.
Brownie often talks about how he never really wanted to drive for somebody else because of how much he liked owning his own team, in control of his own destiny. Are you kind of in that same bucket?
I go back and forth. It's nice during the winter to not, I got a lot of buddies that are race car drivers and, they're, on the phone constantly trying to find a ride. And rides are kind of few and far between these days, especially ones, especially good ones, So, it's tough to run your own team sometimes. So, I like it until I have to pay the bills, and I'm like, it would be nice to just get, 40, 50% from somebody else and just show up and drive it.
What about Florida? You been running down in Florida in the spring?
I hope so.
Yeah?
That's, we didn't make it down there this year, but, with East Bay gone, that kind of messed a lot of things up. I know.
Yes.
I'll try.
Bummer.
I'm going to tear up if I talk about it too much. But
No
East Bay
doubt.
was a great track down there, and that whole speed week kind of made it a little better, but who knows? We'll see how the winter turns out and maybe put my seat in someone else's car. That'd be nice.
Talking about tonight, what do you guys need to do? I mean, obviously you've been thinking about it all day long. How do you approach tonight?
Well, hopefully we can just keep our qualifying trend up. We've been, on top of the board a lot during qualifying this year. And, we got a kind of a mid-pack draw. I think we'll be one of either the first car in the second group or one of the last cars in the first group. And, if we can just qualify in the top 3 and make it out, if we can just be in the top 3 rows of the feature tonight and just give ourselves a chance, no matter if it's a weekly show or this deal, it's so tough to come from the mid-pack these days. Everyone's good. Everyone's got smoke. So we just need to put ourselves in position to where we don't have to work too hard and can get into that top 4 and just hopefully cruise.
How much help will your dad give you?
Not a ton tonight. He'll probably be up in the suite, but my dad's more of a motivator and stuff like that. Not so much on the mechanical side, but more of a driver coach. So he'll be up in the suite. I'll be thinking about him a lot. During Wednesday, we put ourselves in a really good spot, and then just unfortunately had a bad restart in that B main, and didn't make it out. And the whole time, the checker came out, and I'm like, the red came out, and I'm stopped right in the front of the Hall of Fame, and I'm like, I don't even want to look. I don't even want to look at him, but. He didn't lecture me too hard, thank God.
It's tough enough to compete against all the competitors, let alone your own family, and trying to fight for your own. But you do have a distinction at this racetrack that not many do. You're a rookie of of a class for 3 classes here. The only guy that's done that, the first to do that. It may not mean as much as that $15,000 win, but that's got to be a little arrow in the quiver back there.
Yeah, for sure. And, we have a 305 and a couple 360 championships. So, my goal for the next couple of years would be the first, I don't think anyone's ever won all three points championships. So, Leonard's got his as a car owner, and, my dad's got all his, and Austin's on his way to his 3rd or 4th one now. So, I don't want to be the only one to not have one. So, and I think, we have the team and the car to do it. We just need, maybe a couple crew guys and some things to go our way during the year, and, I think eventually we'll get ours.
No shade on Danny Lasowski's record here, right? Being the winningest driver in 410 history at Knoxville. But if you peel everything back and you look at a family that's been so successful at any racetrack in the country, this one has to be right at the top, right? There's a cool picture that surfaced over the last week or so of 2 of his cars, 2 of Austin's cars, and 2 of Terry's cars, and they're all lined up in a row in the infield. And I thought, man, just think of the impact the McCarl brand has had on Knoxville Raceway. It's pretty impressive.
Well, I think the word is iconic. When you think about Knoxville over the last generation, the McCarl family is just part of what you think is the fabric here. It would be, you can't picture what it would be without them, honestly.
Right, for sure. Well, Carson, we wish you tons of luck, buddy. You can get your elbows up. You can get around this place as good as anybody, and we look forward to seeing you progress tonight.
Oh, yeah, I told everybody. that I'm either going to make it out or put on a show to move some merch. So whatever we got to do. But thanks to all the fans for coming out. Appreciate it.
Carson McCarl. We're going to take one more break, and when we come back, Tyler Courtney will join us here on the show.
DIRTVision would like to thank our friends at Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts for helping us get from track to track.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2024 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series champion, David Gravel.
Get all your official David Gravel merchandise at track or online at shopdgr.com.
Every lap, every race, every bit of paint traded for every hard-fought place. every checkered flag and trophy raised. Every ounce of dirt, sweat, and gears. They're all jammed inside every can of NOS Energy. Go ahead, open up a can.
And welcome back to the Knoxville Nationals pre-race show presented by Midwest Sanitation. Do me a favor, welcome this guy to the stage, Tyler Courtney. We're really lucky to have him here with us tonight. Man, I'm so appreciative that you were able to take some time out and join us with everything you've got going on, both around the racetrack and personally. It's great to see you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And yeah, it's a little less busy this year for me, unfortunately, but I am super excited to be here. And I think, yeah, my goal was to try to be here just to show everybody that, you know, obviously I'm not okay, but I'm going to be okay, right? And it was a scary week there at Eldora, not just for me, but for a lot of us. And you know, unfortunately, we got Brownie hurt last night too. It's been a bad couple weeks for racing in general, but it's still we're one big family out here, and it's been an awesome experience. Just being just the love that I felt being hurt here the last 3 weeks, and it's I couldn't imagine being a part of a different type of family than the racing family.
I was just going to say, through all the noise that's been going on in sprint car racing lately and all the stuff and drivers getting hurt, one thing that I have noticed too is people have really come together. I mean, when drivers are hurt, people want to be there for them, and I think that's been really cool.
Yeah, it's been just a humbling experience, I would say, and just the amount of people that have reached out or bought a T-shirt or just stopped me this week just to see how I'm doing is just a really good feeling. And I love the Knoxville Nationals as it is, and I'll be here when I'm 90 years old as a fan. So I'm not going to let an injury keep me from my favorite race. And I wanted to be here for my guys and Giovanni and you know, kind of help them mesh as quick as we can to get them going. We got a championship to go for as a team. To go and try and knock Brad off and hopefully get him off his perch here for a little bit. And you know, unfortunately, I'd like to do that as a driver, but you know, the position's changed a little bit right now. But I get to be here, and that's what I feel like is most important. And I feel like a couple things go differently there at Eldora. It's a whole different conversation.
How much have you been influencing this transition with Gio and helping him get comfortable in the car?
Here and there, I think it's good for them to naturally do it. I don't think I need to interject a lot. I think Juan Giovanni's a hell of a race car driver. My team's obviously it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
This is unfortunately their third different driver here in the last couple of years at the Knoxville Nationals. They've locked in 3 times. So I think I've got a great team behind me, and a great sponsor with NOS Energy Drink that's you know, been very open and supportive through this whole situation as well. So. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if Gio has questions or like Jake just needs to talk about something, I'm there. My phone's ready or whatever. But it's been a pretty easy process. I think coming to Knoxville, where Gio's pretty good and our stuff's pretty good, is probably the great first place for us to come to as this transition into the rest of the year.
You know, we talk about it all the time, and it's just a truism, Tony, that if you race long enough, you're going to have some adversity.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it's really, really tough adversity. And, you know, Tyler, I'm sure you've had time to think about this. You talked about how it lifts your spirits to have all these people pulling for you and supporting you. But how do you channel this episode, this experience, into a way that makes you stronger and better coming out the other side?
Yeah, I think just taking the time to get myself 100% healed up. I think I've said this quite a bit here this week, that even if they cleared me next week, it doesn't do me any good to come back 50%. It doesn't do my team any good to come back 50%. And just taking the time to get myself 100% healed up. And you know, I'm very fortunate that I'm in a great position with the team I'm at with Gloucester Marsh Racing, that I know that car is going to be there when I get back, and my sponsors are going to be there when I get back. And so just taking the time to get that and get myself back in order, and just make myself stronger, and it makes me hungry sitting here watching you know somebody drive my race car at my favorite race and the biggest race of the year. So but I know the Knoxville Nationals isn't going anywhere. My race car's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So it just makes me hungry to come back, and I know I can be stronger. I was stronger after the last time I got hurt, and we showed up the first race and won that. And I'm not saying that's going to happen this next time that we show up, because my goal right now is to show back up at Volusia. That's my goal right now, and hopefully we get to that point, and I think showing up to Volusia is probably going to be a little bit tougher to just show up and win at, especially being out of the car for a little bit. But that's my goal right now.
So as good as it is for you to be here, I think I can speak for a lot of these fans out here. It's good for our souls to see you out here.
Yeah.
We can actually make sure that you're okay. You can show us that. And really, you T this, L5, whatever the heck all these things are, we can actually see what you're having to endure. Where are the injuries and what's the biggest problem?
Yeah, so I broke T7, and so
which is
it's like right in the middle of your back, basically.
Okay.
So they went in there and put some screws in from T5 to T9 just to support that area, and it's different vertebrae than I broke last time. Last time I had like little hairline fractures, so I really didn't. I only had to sit out about 3 weeks last time, so everybody was worried about that. But then talking to my doctor yesterday, they were. I said, do you have any qualms about going back races? She's like, as dangerous as your job is, you're not at any more risk now than you were before. So, which makes me feel good, obviously. Yeah. We, as race car drivers, we know the risk we take strapping in those race cars each time, and I've known that risk since I was 7 years old, and it's a risk that I'm 100% still willing to take.
Are you still in pain?
No, the pain's actually been pretty good. I get a little uncomfortable, like at the end of the day, like doing a lot, especially this week, get tight and sore and stuff like that, but I just go lay down and reset myself, and we're good to go.
I know you've been asked this question before, but you made the transition. You raced a bunch of USAC races before you started running with the wing. What was the transition like for you? How did you surely had to tune up how you race a car.
Yeah, it's just a whole different style of racing, right? So it was, for me, I felt like it went pretty smooth. I know we had some rough parts there, but luckily for us, we had some success pretty immediately, and that gets things going a lot quicker, and you don't bang your head against the wall and like, man, are we doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing here? And but yeah, I loved my time at USAC racing. I think like it made me to the driver I am today, and then the time I've spent wing racing now, it just made me an even better race car driver, especially when you're racing against some of the best guys in the world night in and night out. It's really hard to not get yourself better, and it's just been an honor and a privilege to get to race against everybody that I get to race against, and race in all the series that I've raced with, and it's been amazing.
So through this recuperation, before the show we were talking about, you got therapy coming up. Will you get the opportunity to still travel with the team some, or what will that look like for you?
I think so. Like it's just going to depend, honestly, what the schedule looks like on that. But I've got a few races picked out that I'd like to go to, just like other events that I don't like missing out on. And obviously I don't want to say what those are now, just in case I don't end up showing there and make somebody mad or not. So then I know this is DIRTVision, but I talked with Flo a little bit about maybe doing some stuff to keep my face in front of people on the broadcasts and all that kind of stuff. So maybe dabble in that for a little bit while I'm out at the race car, just to keep myself around and keep myself involved.
I can promise you're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
Trust me. Give me a call.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
that easy.
Let me know if you need any reading material.
Yeah, no, well, so that's actually, I had about a 30-minute phone conversation with Dale Jr. yesterday, and just talking about, because I had a little, head trauma there too at Eldora, so just being able to talk with him. Obviously, he's a huge advocate on the concussion stuff and things like that, so talking to him for about 30 minutes, and I'm getting a copy of his book, just to fully understand the whole realm of it, because there's things that are kind of hard to explain, and I think he explained them pretty well on the phone, and I know he's going to explain it really well in his book and things like that. But no, I've read a lot of your books too, Dave, and it's I've got to read and learn about a lot of my heroes that I didn't get to know a lot about.
Well, it's just great to see you here.
Yeah,
I period.
appreciate it.
I love seeing you here.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You mentioned Volusia, and this is the I want to see you race side of it. Does that mean that Chili Bowl's definitely out of the equation?
Yeah, Chili Bowl's.
That's probably smart.
Yeah, probably 100% out of the equation. I, on Chili Bowl side of things nowadays, is more of a, it's not that I didn't want to win it, but it's more showing up and going and have some fun with my friends. And I got to race with Kyle last year on the same team, and just being involved with him and Paul and Trevor and those guys, and just having a blast. And we were able to sneak in the show there, and be a part of him winning it was really special. So, I think I'll show up there as a fan and enjoy it just like here.
To end kind of on a fun note, we asked Sheldon the same question. How fun have the NOS commercial things, those videos you guys do, how fun has that been for you?
The whole NOS family is amazing, and getting to go do those shoots is just an extra perk of being a part of that, and just they're crazy, and it's a full blown like production. So it's like when you see back behind the scenes of like movies and stuff, that's what it feels like, and it's cool just to get to be a part of that. And on top of that, we get to do a lot of fun stuff, like when we were doing racing those Volkswagen Bugs there at Irwindale and stuff like that. And we've torn up a lot of stuff throughout the years, but
has there been a favorite one?
I would say the one at Irwindale where we're all racing the Bugs and we have to get out and do a pit stop and driver change and all that kind of stuff was a lot of fun. And then, I mean, one year we were at the Speedrome there in Indy. One of us was driving a bus, one of us driving a Bug, and one of us driving a limo. So I would say between those two is just a lot of fun. And
you did a blindfolded one too, right?
Yeah,
that's got to be the most
one,
unsettling thing in the world.
Yeah, the blindfolded one was insane. And you got to have a lot of trust in that that guy sitting next to you. So it was. Yeah, honestly, I guess there's all of them are a lot of fun. It's kind of hard to pick one, but it's just being a part of the Knox family has been amazing, and it's been a great partnership that extends past my team, but it goes myself and became Lauren and her whole group at Knox has become a part of all of our families, and it's been a cool process.
Well, Tyler, I think I can speak on behalf of everybody here. We are really, really glad to see you here this week and see you upright, see you smiling, and hear that you're on the right path to recovery. So give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler Courtney.
Thank you, guys.
Tomorrow on the show, the big day, Championship Saturday. I can't wait. It's always one of those races we look forward to all year, and then when it gets here, we're like, man, it's already here. But David Gravel, Donnie Schatz, Austin McCarl, and Brad Sweet will join us on the show, fellas.
All-star lineup.
We hope you can join us tomorrow. We hope all of you come back to join us. Don't forget, here in just a few minutes, Dave will have the pre-race show here right down front. You're all invited to the post-race press conference, which will be live in the show building at the end of the concourse following tonight's races. For Dave and all of our guests, I'm Tony Bachhoven. Thanks for joining us on the Knoxville Nationals pre-race show presented by Midwest Sanitation.
If your answer to the summer heat is let it rain, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
Racing is tough. It's not a sport for the weak, and the winning desire has to flow through your veins. Established in 1993 and only stocked in top-rated manufacturers is why BR Motorsports is your one-stop shop when it comes to your sprint car and midget needs. Call us today at 1-800-328-3333 and talk to racers to get the right parts you need when you need them. BR Motorsports, the leaders in sprint car parts technology.
Honest Abe Roofing is America's favorite roofing company.
I took the time to discuss all of our needs.
I couldn't be happier with my new roof.
The best part? They came in under budget.
Honest Abe Roofing helped us with their easy payment solutions, and now we can make low payments on the roof that we actually wanted.
I guarantee you'll get the best price for your roof. That's what my ironclad lowest investment guarantee is all about.
It's ARP Fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
This is the driver's cart. Wedge carts are built for speed, tuned for fun, and made to move. Every frame is hand-built, no shortcuts. Own the track. Visit wedgecarts.com.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
I'm faster than you. Yeah, well, I'm gnarlier than you. I get more sideways. I'm louder. Much louder. I get wilder than you. You sure about that, bro?
Harder.
Slicker.
Cooler.
Tougher.
Let's go.
So what you got?